How's it going, gamers? It's PewDiePie. As you can probably tell, I am sick. That's why I'm making videos, because I have time. So this video is about maps again. I've already made a video on this. This will touch on a lot of the points that were before, but actually adding some other suggestions. You know, I never beg for likes, but I really want you guys to support this one because, well, I want this video to reach the devs. So let's start the video. So of course I have to start with the worst map in the game, which is Overwatch. This is the worst Dominion map in my opinion, yes, even more than Forge. So let's start with point C, which is the worst point in all the maps. Let's start by saying that these ledges got to go. So maybe keep these two ledges and keep them like they are, you know, don't even touch them, but remove these two ledges, or at least remove this one. This map is absolutely disgusting to play in if there's an enemy warlord, especially with how easy it is to get warlord charges. So that's my biggest suggestion. The next one is to actually make this route available, so you could actually go into the point and then actually travel between the two spawn entrances. Maybe this will fix the ledging part and also make this actually part of the point, obviously. So I don't know how they designed this interior, but make it so you can actually go in this little watchtower or whatever, and you can actually go through this corridor to the other side. I don't know how that would play out with the ledges, but that would actually give this map a little bit more mobility. On this map, point A only has the C route into it, so my suggestion is make that route over there, like that one that opens over there. So you have this whole route there, and then there's the door over there. Make it so you can actually access that, so you can go to point A from the defender spawn. Now, what looks to be the entrance is this point right here, but as you can see, there's no entrance to it. So just make a ladder or make a staircase into that upper area, and then right over here, as you can see, there's the whole route over here, and then right over here where the door is, open the door, so you can actually go from the point from the spawn of the defenders all the way to point A without actually having to cross the bridges and the choke on C. And the same thing goes for the attacker spawn. Also open that door. So as I was saying, right here there is no entrance, but as you can see, there's a window over here. Open the window, or whatever that is, a hatchet, whatever. Make a ladder or a staircase. Yeah, probably not a staircase, but probably a ladder. And make a ladder all the way there, like the attackers are breaching the castle, so it makes sense for there to be ladders to the upper area. And make the whole route all the way to A. Open the whole thing up. Maybe don't add ladders over here, it's kind of unnecessary, but at least that ladder over there right at the spawn. Okay, here we go. Now we're moving into the second worst map in the game, which is Forge. The biggest problem with Forge is that it's the only literal 2-lane map in the game. Like, no other map only has 2 lanes like Forge. Forge literally has only 2 lanes. It's either the minion lane or the points lane, which is insanely bad design. So my suggestion on the first video was that you could actually open this bridge over here that goes all the way to the other spawn, so that defenders could go to the back spawn, go for the back cap of point A, while the attackers could go to a back cap of point C. The problem is this whole area is so off the grid. Like, nobody comes here. Nobody will come here because the points are over here. Like, I still think that is a good way to actually balance the map, is to actually make it so you can go through this route, because there's only 2 lanes in the map. But let's actually move into better suggestions. So you see this door right here. Where that door is somewhere over there, right? And there's the whole route over there. As you can see, why not use that? You know what I mean? This way, it's actually a 3-lane map again. And also, maybe keep this lane. It'll be a 4-lane map, and maybe that's not necessary. The whole point is actually give some utility to that whole area above. Like, there's so much stuff, why not use it? So let's recap the suggestion. It's quite a big one, and I don't see this one coming soon, but Forge is so bad. So this door over here would go all the way up there, as you can see right there, and you would go through that route. You can see the fences there, that whole route. You see the fences there, all the way there. Now there would need to be some sort of bridge that would connect this part to this part, and you'd go all the way down, as you can see, to that door, so you'd actually have a connection between the points. Now, is that insane? Yeah, it is, but this map is terrible. It really needs some sort of revamp to it, and the whole structure is already here, so just use the structure. Now, there's also this door over here. The problem with this door is that it's really close to this entrance. That's why I'm not too keen on it, because then you have a massive choke over here. So maybe don't use this door, or maybe use this door to connect like this area over here. There's no doors, but if you just remove this crap and actually make a route over here and connect it to this entrance, that would be some sort of fair, because then you'd have a choke here but also a choke there. But to make this, you would have to have that other route, because this one would be way too like claustrophobic. Okay, let's move on to the third worst balanced map in the game, which is the Shard. So same problem with Overwatch. There's one route that leads to B and A, massive choke, terrible design. So my suggestion from the last video was that there was a route from here, like open the door here, and it would lead all the way down to over here, right here. So open that up, there would be a whole route from here all the way to over here, as you can see. And this will make sense because, you know, there's already a route here. You would go from here to that door, and then you would leave over here. This would actually make it so that you have two different routes, one to A and then one to B, so there wouldn't be so much of a trouble in this massive choke. And because the entrances would be right there at the spawn, you really wouldn't have that much trouble. If the entrances were closer here, it would be, you know, not too much of an impact, because the people that have the points can just, you know, push you over here and make a gigantic choke. So making a route from there through here all the way here would fix the problem of the choke. And the same thing to over here, open this thing and open that thing over there, so you actually have another route. Now it's time for the fourth place in the worst maps in Dominion. This is a tight place between Beachhead and the Gauntlet, but let's start with the Beachhead. So right off the bat, you already have a gigantic mistake, which is a ladder. Why? Why would you make a ladder route? Like, why? And especially it's such a small one. It's just terrible. The defender team or whoever is in here, it can just have a Shugoki camping over there, and you really cannot cross. Like, you actually cannot cross if there's a Shugoki in here. Like, you just get stuck and you can actually not go through. Let me try to do it. If there's a Shugoki here, you cannot go through. You cannot actually walk through. So get rid of the stupid ladder and actually make a freaking staircase over here. Seriously, how hard is it? Like, why is there a ladder? It makes no sense. It's terribly designed. But hey, if that's too much of a trouble, then just, you know, make this route over here. Like, there's these two doors for no reason. Make another route. Like, instead of just being a ladder, make a staircase over here. Like, seriously, there's no reason for there to be a ladder, especially from the spawn. Like, if this wasn't the spawn route, like if this was like a secondary lane or a secondary route, I mean, totally fine. But it's the spawn route. Like, the attackers come from there, and this is their route, and it has a ladder. Terribly designed. Get rid of this stupid ladder and make a staircase. Seriously, how hard is it? There's this whole gate that goes all the way here. As you can see, I think that should be open so that you don't have this choke, like this very tiny corridor. But if you open there, point A will actually need some bigger changes, so maybe don't touch that. But let's actually move to the point A, which is the worst point in this map. But don't forget that idea. So point A, get rid of the spikes. There's literally no reason for there to be spikes. Now, maybe don't get rid of all of them. In skirmish, you actually have these two spikes out, but you still have this one on the edge. And same thing here. You don't have this spikes and these spikes. You only have these on the ledge. Maybe keep those. I don't see why not keep them. Really not a big change over that. Just make that, you still have some sort of ledging or insta-kill, but it's not as easy as, you know, the defenders come from their spawn, you can just instantly ledge them over here with a warlord. Or the attackers come from their spawn, you can instantly just it's really poorly designed. Now, taking into consideration that route I told you about, from that door all the way here, that would make another route from the defenders to the attacker spawn. So you would actually need to have another route from the attacker spawn to the defender's spawn point, and that route is easily manageable. You see this door right here? Take out this garbage, and because the spikes would be removed, as I suggested, there wouldn't be that much of a trouble here. So just get rid of the spikes and that trash, and open that door, and as you can see right here, there's the whole route over here. So because they for some reason decided, hey, let's put a bunch of crap over here for no reason, and there's really no easy way to get over here, they would actually need to change a lot. Simply make a ladder over here, like open this up a little bit or something like that, so you have a way to get into that door. Now, this is a little bit more ambitious and it's totally unnecessary, but if these like, the real problem with the map really is that stupid ladder on the spawn route and the spikes in point A. So if those things change, the map would be pretty decent. But if the devs think, you know, why not, maybe remove those doors and actually make another route, and same thing here, remove that door and make a ladder over here or something so you actually have another route. Alright, here we go, the 5th worst designed map in the game. Let's move on to the big problem, which is the freaking points. They're terribly designed, insanely small. So my suggestion is, make the freaking points bigger. You would have to change the whole design on it, I know, but the points are insanely small. There's barely any room to move in. They fixed a lot of the walls that would block your view, so that's pretty good. Like, you no longer get blocked. Like, there's still some spots right over here, like you still get blocked a little bit, but your vision is a lot better on the map. But still, the points are insanely small. Point C is somewhat decent. They would have to make this ledging a little bit more, you know, to a minimum, because this really makes a gigantic choke on the entrance, which I hate. So just making so that the well, like this beam, is a little bit more to this part, like it would actually make it so that you don't have such a big choke on the entrance. Make this a little smaller, like all the way here, as you can see, lined up with this beam, the ceiling beam. That is my like main concern on that point. On point A, I don't know, like the point is really small, they would have to amplify it. I don't know how they would do it. But let's move on to the actual traps, which are these stupid bridges. I think it's an interesting part of the map. So after you use it, it stays on for a while, but then you can instantly use it again. My suggestion is make it have a cooldown. This actually was implemented on Sanctuary Bridge, in case you didn't know. The spiked gates that you can close actually have a cooldown, so as soon as you activate them, they'll go on, but when the lever comes back, you can't just press it again. You need to wait a while. So make that a thing for this map as well. So I activate it, but when it comes back, you shouldn't be able to instantly activate it again. Moving to the 6th worst designed map in the game, Highfort. For some reason on the last video I didn't put the footage of it. Here we go. So let's start with the actual big problem with the map, which is point C. This whole thing, really. Let me just go to the other side and tell me if this is balanced. It isn't! Come on! Why the defenders have this whole place protected over here, but the attackers have literally no protection to the point? Alright, let's start by saying that this whole thing needs to have a protection all the way down here. Not on this side. On this side you would only have, like, see this fence? It would go all the way here, for example. Just make it a little bit more protected, but still with this whole area without any protection. But in here, from this pike all the way down to this pike, there would be a fence. This would make it so that the defender team would not have such an easy time defending it by just ledging people across or over here. and they would actually have some sort of vulnerability, so that whoever is attacking can actually ledge the opponent. Like they would guard break them and throw them here, for example. And if they push, they can actually guard break and throw them here. So I like these 2 ledges, not this one. It's way too big and it's way too easy. And also make it so that you actually have some more protection here. Moving to the middle bridge, I think it's fine-ish. I still don't think it's like a great design, but with the suggestions that I'm gonna make, I think it wouldn't be so much of a trouble if there was actually a bridge that would have, you know, literally no safetiness. So you actually have 2 safe routes that whoever has the point has to defend, and then you actually have a more dangerous route that you can take from both teams. There really isn't much to change over here, only that this fence over here would reach to this fence over here. They would actually have some fences to protect, and that's about it. Like, keep that ledge over here, maybe. I think it's fine here. It's not too much of a trouble, but in here, get actually a fence to protect whoever is coming to the point. Overall, I think this route is pretty decent. Really, the problem is on that side. Alright, moving to point A. As you can see, the defenders have a pretty easy time getting on a point. There's no ledges. They can just vault right in. And it makes no sense because they also have literally no real trouble. I mean, they have some ledges on the route to C, but not real trouble. But the attackers have a ledge. Like, why? I really don't understand the devs when they made this map. Like, why do the defenders have no ledges pretty much on their routes to the points, while the attackers have so much trouble? Make this actually protected, so you can't ledge people from it. Maybe keep it here, I don't know. But what I really want is, you see this door? So maybe open this here and make that door connect to this side, so that the attackers can actually flank. So one attacker could go through that really tiny choke, while the other can go through the open area. Same thing for the defenders. They can either go through this very open area, which is super easy to get to, or they can go around and go through that staircase, which is very choky. This would make it so that it's not so easy for the defenders to capture points, because they just have such an easy time getting to them, while the attackers have these really choky and ledgy routes. Now it's time for the 7th worst designed map in Le Dominion game mode, which is Sanctuary Bridge. One of my suggestions actually made it through. These gates now actually have a cooldown. So when you activate them, yeah, it's 20 seconds. So at 49:10 they open up, but as you can see, you cannot activate them for, go on, 10 seconds. So they say activated for 20 seconds, and then there has a 10-second cooldown. So the gauntlet is the same thing. I think I said 30 seconds. My mistake. It's 20 seconds that the bridges stay down, and then there should be a 10-second cooldown, so that, you know, people can actually use the goddamn bridges. So on the first video, I suggested that there would be a route from here all the way there, but apparently there's a door here. So make a staircase all the way up. The door doesn't connect to over there for some reason. I don't understand why. Like, why not? But so yeah, make it that the door reaches here. Like, make a route from that door all the way up there, using what's already in the map, so there's not a lot of trouble. And then make it connect to this door. I mean, it's not really a door. It's like protected wooden gate that was destroyed. So open this hole up so that there's more routes to the points. And same thing for the other spawn from the defender spawn. So in here there's this door right here, and you would go up into that door right there. You would go here, and right over here there's the door. Open the door, and there you go. You go to point A. This would make it a little bit easier for the defenders to move rather than the attackers, but at least it would make everyone happier, because everyone would actually have more routes to the point. Now it's time for the 8th worst map on Dominion in the game, which is Riverford. This is one of my favorite maps because of how cool it is. It's such a small map. It's different from the others, but there really is some problems in it. So let's start with point C. So many ledges in here, and the whole point is very claustrophobic. And then the only part which is actually decent is this part below, which is quite more open and less claustrophobic. But there's these beams over here that make it claustrophobic, and here with this thing in the middle, and there are these two gigantic ledges over here. So pretty poorly designed. So down here, my suggestion is don't close all of these blinders or whatever this is called, but please close one at least. Like, it's way too easy to ledge people in it. I think that the best one would be the middle, so you actually have this ledge and this ledge somewhat decent. It's not as easy, but I think it would make the map look a little weird actually. But please actually make it so this middle blinder, or maybe this blinder or this blinder, is closed, and same thing for the other side, so it's not as easy to ledge in here. And as you can see, these doors over here, they connect to that part below. You see that door over there? You see that door? That's where they connect to. So this door connects to the outer area. I think it would be cool if they connected to this gate, because as you can see, this gate does not connect to anything, because this gate is this whole area down below where the ballista is. There's probably like a storage unit, but it'd be pretty cool if you could go from this gate to this door or this door. You'd actually have another route. Or maybe you see this hatchet, maybe open it. Now this would actually ruin the mobility, so it wouldn't be as easy, but it would make it easier for the devs to actually make a route here. But please make it so that these doors actually have some sort of path into it, because the entrances to the point C are really shit. So either make these doors connect to that area over here, like maybe there's a ladder that connects to an underground passage to over here, something like that, so you actually have some more mobility in it. Now, the last part on this map that sucks is this whole place. Like, why do the defenders have such an decent route? Like, it's not perfect. There's still a ledge over here, but nothing ledging here, only on this side, while the attackers have ledge across ledge. It's just an entire path of ledges. Why is that? So my suggestion is maybe make some sort of roofing like there is on this side. As you can see, there's this like pretty shitty roofing on it where this like connects and shit. Maybe add that to this bridge. Like, why not? So like it over here, like there would be some sort of bridge over here that connects like a fencing, and make it so that in here there's a ledge just like there is on that side, but down below there's no ledges, so the actual players can go up all the way here without having to fear for their lives for a Shogoki to just vault in or something like that. So that is my suggestion. Make it so that there's a fence from maybe here all the way here, and this whole area over here is actually a ledge. Now I want you to pay attention to Temple Garden, which is the 9th worst design map in the game. Let's check out the attacker spawn. You see how far I am? You see how far I am from anywhere? And the thing is, if I was moving, I would be moving in that direction. If you saw, I was like looking here. I wasn't even like perfecting. Like, I wasn't moving in any way, and I started looking at this bridge, which means you need to walk like this. Like, you need to press D and W or go horizontally on the analog to actually go to the point C. Terrible spawn for the attackers. I think they should spawn right here, something like that, so they can easily get to the points. Because on the defender spawn, I'm not going to go all the way over there, but the defenders always get to point A, B, and C before the attackers every single time, unless of course we're talking about a shinobi attacker and the Highlander defender. Of course, like that is like the extreme that would go in somewhat the same time, but anything else, they will always get faster, the defenders. So please make the attackers spawn a little closer to the actual passages. This is the reason why I put this map as the worst ranking than Citadel Gate, even though this is my favorite map in the game. Is this whole bridge over here. This whole place is super easy to hide traps. Like, you literally can just put a trap here and you cannot see it. You can also put it in between the rocks and you cannot see the traps because they get, stuck in between the the rocks and the textures override, so you can actually not see bear traps and shit. It's very easy to ledge. Well, you can see over here on the attacker side, you have this very open bridge, and there is no possible way to hide the traps other than maybe over here that you can actually hide the traps. Now, this is a problem with traps in general and not like map design. The traps should always show up above textures and not below them as a weird placement. But really, this whole bridge, it's way too tight. As you can see here, it's a very broad bridge, while on this side is a very tight bridge. So please make this bridge wider, so a Shugoki can actually fit through it. Please remove the rocks and make it an actual bridge. I know the rocks look cute, but it makes no sense. You have these totems, so you have this totem and this totem, even though they're like lanterns and not like actual totems. But make the bridge work as it is here. So, or here even, you have this, you have the beams, and then the bridge starts. You make the same thing for this side. I know the rocks look cute as hell, but it really is a terrible design. Again, don't put ledges, you know, or maybe actually make it so it's protected. But if you do it on one side, you need to do it on the other. I like the fact that there's ledges, and at the same time I dislike it. But really, make this bridge a bridge and not stones, please. Here we go, baby. Moving to the best design map in the game, the 10th worst map in Dominion, Citadel Gate. Alright, so Citadel Gate is not my favorite map, it's my third favorite. My first favorite is Temple Garden, then it's River Fort, and then it's Citadel Gate. There really is only one problem with Citadel Gate. Everything in it is amazing. There's really not much to talk about. I hate the fact that it's so big, that's why it's not on my top 2 list. It's a really big map, very broad. The whole point B area is very broad. To actually clear the whole thing takes a gigantic amount of time, but all that is fine. The only problem is the defender's entrance to point A. Attackers can just sit here not doing anything. As soon as you walk in, boom, they just hit you with a heavy. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot do anything against it. There's no way unless you are Shaolin and you teleport behind them. So this whole passage is very terribly designed. I like the fact that you are not able to go from here to there. Like from the, if you're an attacker and you're in the spawn, you cannot just spawn camp them. That's amazing. Like, that is very well designed. In here, my suggestion is to make it like it was before, where you could either just walk through it, or you could just ledge, or you could just plunge through it. So as I was saying, you go here. Instead of just being able to walk through, you can actually do heavy and do a plunge attack. This would make whoever is in the point a little bit more afraid to stand here, because they can't just do a heavy on you, because if they try to do that, then you'll just do a plunge attack and kill them. So, very nice. I think that would make it a little bit more fair, and it wouldn't change much on the map. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Why didn't I put Sentinel in the list? And it's not because I forgot, it's the fact that this map is so weird. It's so different from all the other maps, and I have no way of expressing how bad or how good it is, because it's completely different than the others. Let's just start by the fact that it's amazingly looking. Like, it looks amazing, obviously. It looks amazing. But the problem is that it's so fucking huge. This isn't a breach game mode, this is Dominion. So most of the time, what happens in a match is that one team decides to go to A and the other decides to go to C, and they sit in the ballistas and kill the minions until the timer runs out. That is it. That's what most of the time happens. The teams normally have 2 people going to A or 2 people going to C, depending on what side they're on, and that is it, making it very, very lame. And I'm sick. Why am I speaking so loud? And seriously, this map is really weird. It's so much different. It's so much more different than the other maps. I really don't understand what the hell the devs were going with this. It makes no sense. So I don't know how to change it. I don't know where to put it on the list, because it's not terribly designed. Because there's a multitude of ways you can go to the points, but the points are very tiny. Point C is very decently spaced. It's just on the entrances and on those routes over there that they're pretty choky. Point A, on the other hand, is very choky and very tiny. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, but as I said, it's hard to explain this map. I don't know how to balance it, what my suggestions are. It's such a weird map. I'll just leave him off the list. So this was my top 10 list. Sentinel is off the list. I really don't know how to classify it. So I don't know what the devs are doing specifically. I think they're probably working a lot on the breach maps and on the woolen maps, because they have to do 2 woolen dominion maps. They also work for skirmish and do woolen tribute. 1 tribute map for the woolen and 1 breach map for the woolen, and 1 what's it called? 1 arena map for the woolen. So there's a lot of maps for the woolen they have to do. That's probably why they're not focusing on the other maps. But seriously, devs, fucking fix your current maps. It's cool that you're working on new ones, but if you don't fix these, then why are you making new ones? People usually just vote for the same maps over and over and over, because the others are very poorly designed. So this is my list. If you have other suggestions or you want to speak about my suggestions, tell me in the comments. I'll post this on Reddit. Please upvote this. Please make it reach the devs so they can actually maybe talk about on the stream what they're thinking about doing on the current Dominion maps or something. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Bye guys.